Hello, Americans. I'm Kenton McNall. It's Constitution time. Today is December 22nd, 2020. And as this is our last program before the Christmas break, I want to wish you all the happiest of holidays and safety with your family and whoever you're able to get together with this strange holiday. Our last show on Friday laid out what is supposed to happen on January 6th. And since that show, it has become very clear with information coming out of the Oval Office and directly stated by congressional members that there will be some strange activities on January 6th. So if you're interested in knowing what's supposed to happen and some of the conjecture on what might happen on January 6th, you might want to check out episode 23 of Constitution Time. But that's not what I want to talk about today. In fact, we're a little bit off the beaten path, but still in relation to the Constitution, of course. I was very, very heartened to see a speech and presentation by our President-elect, Joe Biden, a couple of days ago, introducing his green team, his climate control, ecology team that will be in charge of this administration's efforts on that extremely important topic. And I was heartened for several reasons. First of all, it was just great to see a very deliberate effort and a major statement by the incoming president that the climate is going to be a major effort for our country. I was also pleased because of the people that I saw on the team. Very, very capable, very able scientists and people who know how to get things done, including John Kerry. But I was also really excited, and have been for a long time, about one of the core messages that Mr. Biden has had, which is that this is going to be a major part of our economy in the future. And that absolutely makes sense. I own Tesla stock, and I'm fortunate to drive I shouldn't say I drive, I haven't driven for many years, but my wife drives a Tesla. And that company is certainly on the forefront of the new economy and people who are going to do very, very well in this new economy with thousands, hundreds of thousands of jobs and everything that comes along with every major new innovative wave that we've experienced. I wanted to talk just for a second about the economy and why it's obvious to me that this is going to be great for the economy. You know, there's no period of our history, and by the way, every single bit of this is just my opinion, the way I look at it. Because the economy, of course, as we all know, can be looked at as an incredibly complex thing that's very difficult for us to understand. And that even experts that try to make it easy to understand often fail. But here's the simple way that I look at the economy on any scale. The economy basically is what we are willing to give each other for what we, for our participation with our time, our talent, and our effort to the good of all. And there's a lot of things about our economy that, again, are very complicated and not easy to understand, but there are some that, to me, just don't make a whole lot of sense. Before I state my opinion, I certainly want to say I am not a communist in any way, shape, or form, and nor do I consider myself a really significant socialist, although I think we are more socialist than we think we are already. But imagine that we're back a few thousand years in the caveman days, and we have a tribe of 100 people, and that's our economy. We don't, maybe we're self-sufficient. We don't really trade outside of our tribe. And we're just all in it together, 100 of us. We have hunters, obviously, gatherers, people that, tend the fire, make sure the fire doesn't go out. We have some artisans and craftsmen that make our skins and beads and et cetera, and whatever the economy of the clan of the cave bear would have been, right? Let's say that a hunter came along and invented something that just revolutionized hunting, a special spear that made anybody capable of bringing down a mammoth. Wow, what a contribution to the good of the tribe. What a contribution to the economy. Do you think that the tribe would then have agreed to give that hunter, inventor, 90% of all the food? I don't think they would have. Now, that tribe also had some people that didn't really want to get off their butts very much and didn't want to contribute a whole lot, and purposefully, maybe some of them didn't have a choice. Maybe they had a handicap. But some of them did choose to just dodge work every way that they could. Would the tribe have just thrust them out and ejected them? It's quite possible back then. But more likely, the result of that person's choices would have been that they really didn't get a whole lot of good food, and that they probably didn't get a good mate and a good place by the fire, etc. In other words, their lack of effort was reflected in what they would get for that. But we probably didn't have the extremes at both ends. We probably didn't have the guy getting 90% of the food. We probably didn't have the person getting completely thrown out of society. And these basic elements of that ancient economy carry forward right to today. And the reason I bring this up is because there's no question that throughout history, the economy has changed many, many times and based on many, many things. We used to have horses and buggies, and that was a major industry in our country and around the world, not only for the people that manufactured the buggies, but also for the people that stabled the horses and bred good horses for drawing those vehicles. And when the automobile came along, it was a pretty big blow to that economy and people who made buggy whips as the horse whips is the usual thing that's talked about. But that's happened many, many times all over the world. And it will continue to happen many times all over the world. Now, petroleum has had its day. And it's time for us to move on from that because there's a better way. And because we also have to save our planet. We've got to have this climate effort. And I hope that won't be a political issue much longer. I really do hope that, because there's no question about it. When you can see something with your own eyes, then it's not fake news. It's not just hype. It's real. And just at my own home in the last few years, I've seen things I've never seen before in my home state. Days and days of smoke-filled skies from fires as far away as California and Montana, not to mention right here in Washington and in Canada. Those things have become life-changing things, and they will continue to do so as long as we continue to deny not only that it's happening, but that we've got to be very active in doing something about it. Now, unfortunately today, this is seen as a liberal cause. I don't see it as a liberal cause at all. I see it as a existential threat to us. And if we don't do something about it, it's not just that we're hurting ourselves, of course. We're hurting our children and their children. And not hundreds of years from now, dozens of years from now. So thank goodness that I hear a president-elect not only talking about this, but already very quickly putting together an action plan about it after several years of almost complete denial that we've got to deal with this. Now, how does this relate to the Constitution? Well, I think that implicit in the creation of our government, which is what the Constitution does, and its statements of how we want to run our government, implicit in that, because there is no nation without land, implicit in that is our commitment to our land and to our posterity, and to pass on livable, workable land, breathable air to our children. And of course is also implicit in that naturally we want to pass along a better world to our children than we received. And it's been some time since our generations were doing that. So good on you, President-elect Biden, for being committed to this. And I, for one, will be very much anxiously ensuring with everything that I can do about it that this is followed through on, and that we do continue down a very aggressive path to taking care of our ecology, but doing so in a way that builds a great economy, because that is what should happen. This should build a great economy. We already know that we can build cars with the same thousands of jobs that we had with petroleum, fossil fuel-based vehicles. And I think we'll find that to be the case in everything, that the process of creating and inventing the technologies that will allow us to stop polluting our planet so badly are going to also make us very well off from an economic standpoint. Now, there are certainly parts of the world that rely on petroleum for their livelihoods and income. Well, they've done very, very well in the past 100 years plus. And hopefully they saved for a rainy day, and hopefully they can pivot and adapt. Because petroleum isn't going to go away. It needs to substantially go away, but it's not going to 100% go away. And because of that, it will increase in value. It will have other applications that aren't as directly difficult for our ecology. And so those folks also will be all right. One of the other reasons I'm so happy about this is that I see petroleum-based industries doing wilder and wilder things to try to keep alive, to try to keep the prices down. Fracking is just one example of that. And we've just got to stop deliberately hurting this planet. There's just no question about that. And historically, I'm not a tree hugger at all. I enjoy the outdoors, but I probably spend less time in it than the average person does. Ironically, it's some of the folks in my life who spend the most time in the outdoors, hunting, fishing, camping, boating, that may be the most against the changes that are coming. But hopefully they'll be able to see that that's the right way to protect that part of our inheritance for our children as well. So this, to me, was a positive thing. Obviously, with some of the troubles that we've faced with our democracy and our Constitution over the last some period of time, and what we might yet face, I felt this was a really positive thing to witness and to see happening, as did not happen, in the last few years. So with that, I will say thank you for watching this evening, and we will look forward to seeing you again very soon on Constitution Time. Be safe, Americans. COVID's getting worse, not better, for a little while longer. So please keep yourself and your family safe, and we'll see you next time.